It's rarely a good idea to defend indefensible behavior. Just ask Megyn Kelly, Chris Harrison, or Chris Cuomo. They all lost cushy TV gigs, and they're not the only ones who have blown up their own careers. Chris Cuomo was CNN's top anchor in 2021, after spending nearly a decade with the network. But then his relationship with his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, brought about an abrupt end to his career. After New York State's Attorney General Letitia James found that the governor sexually harassed at least 11 women, the governor resigned in August 2021. The process took months, and afterward, Chris reportedly admitted he'd offered advice to his brother, even using his media contacts to find out information to fight the allegations. In December, CNN terminated Chris's contract. On top of this, Chris Cuomo has also been accused of sexual misconduct himself. In September 2021, TV producer Shelley Ross alleged in the New York Times that he groped her at a party when they worked together at ABC News. Chris told the outlet that he apologized and maintained that the incident was not sexual in nature. Then in December 2021, attorney Deborah Katz announced that she reached out to CNN just before Chris was fired to discuss serious sexual misconduct allegations made by her client, who chose to remain anonymous. In a statement obtained by the New York Times, Cuomo denied the allegations. In 2017, NBC ponied up a whopping $69 million to sign Megyn Kelly to a 3-year deal, but she soon began hitting stumbling blocks left and right at her new network. Her primetime show fizzled out in the summer of 2017, while her morning talk show was riddled with, as CNN put it, disappointing ratings and awkward moments. The nail in the coffin for the former Fox News star was a 2018 conversation about offensive Halloween costumes, as she attempted to defend the wearing of blackface during an episode of Megyn Kelly Today.
Okay, back when I was a kid, that was okay as long as you were dressing up as like a character. I don't know how that got racist on Halloween.
The backlash was swift and fierce. On a subsequent episode of Today, Craig Melvin called her comments stupid and indefensible, while Al Roker said that she owed people of color an apology. NBC proceeded to cancel Megyn Kelly Today and ended up paying her the remainder of her contract to sit it out. After everything was settled, Kelly told TMZ, "You will definitely see me back on television." But lately, it seems that Kelly is doing her talking behind a microphone instead of in front of a TV camera. As in July 2021, it was announced that she'd signed a deal to host a weekday radio program on SiriusXM. For nearly 20 years, Chris Harrison helped couples find true love on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. But then in 2021, he said something that turned off the Bachelor Nation, and there was no way to charm his way out of it. After photos of Bachelor Season 25 winner Rachel Kirkconnell attending a plantation-themed party surfaced on social media, fellow Bachelor Nation star Rachel Lindsay spoke with Harrison about it on an episode of Extra. While he acknowledged that the pictures and the party theme were bad, he wanted people to extend a little compassion toward her.
Is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021?
It's
because
not
there's a big
good
difference.
look ever.
The following day, Harrison apologized on Instagram for, quote, perpetuating racism. The day after that, members of Season 25's cast called out his remarks in a joint statement. And then Harrison announced that he would be taking a break from the franchise, which was followed by a virtual sit-down with Michael Strahan on Good Morning America. Following the interview, Strahan questioned if Harrison's apology was nothing more than a surface response. Harrison officially parted ways with the franchise in June of 2021. In a since-deleted Instagram post, he wrote, "I've had a truly incredible run as host of the Bachelor franchise, and now I'm excited to start a new chapter." Bill O'Reilly was one of the most popular commentators in the history of Fox News. His penchant for on-air grandstanding kept viewers glued to their sets for 20 years. But in 2017, the tension happening behind the scenes took center stage. On April 1st of that year, the New York Times reported that O'Reilly and Fox had paid $13 million to settle 5 cases involving sexual or other harassment allegations against him. O'Reilly had a reputation for firing off unfiltered, insensitive comments without consequence, but it eventually led to more than 50 of his advertisers canceling their campaigns. Fox News eventually gave O'Reilly his walking papers later that April, But the O'Reilly Factor host maintained that he did nothing wrong and said in a statement, "It is tremendously disheartening that we part ways due to completely unfounded claims. But that is the unfortunate reality many of us in the public eye must live with today." Since then, O'Reilly has stayed busy by publishing a number of books and hosting a show that's available on his website for a monthly subscription fee. Back in 2015, Brian Williams held one of the most coveted slots in broadcasting as the anchor of NBC Nightly News. But then accusations mounted that Williams had lied about his claims that he had come under grenade fire while reporting on the war in Iraq. He was suspended pending the results of an investigation. Ultimately, even more inaccurate statements were uncovered, including Williams' claim that he was in Baghdad with the Navy SEALs who killed Osama bin Laden. And thus, the most watched newsman in America had lost the most essential quality for any journalist: his credibility. He was yanked from the anchor desk at NBC and relegated to a lesser role at MSNBC. Williams later addressed his misstep in an interview with Matt Lauer, as he admitted,
"I know why people feel the way they do. I get this. I'm responsible for this. I am sorry."
In 2021, Williams signed off from MSNBC's The 11th Hour. As he wrapped up the unceremonious end to what could have been a celebrated career, he announced,
"I'll show myself out until we meet again."
One of the most revered journalists in American history, Dan Rather's career hit a serious speed bump in 2004. That was when he ran a story that challenged President George W. Bush's Vietnam War-era military service. After the story aired, questions arose about the accuracy of the reporting, specifically whether or not the source documents were legitimate. This stirred up a firestorm of backlash from conservative critics. Rather stepped away from the CBS Evening News anchor desk in 2005 and left the network for good in 2006 after 44 years. In his book, Rather Outspoken, Rather recalled feeling all but invisible at CBS during that time. As he put it, "By this time it was clear to everyone but me that I was being erased." In 2007, Rather filed a $70 million lawsuit against CBS for breach of contract, as he claimed that the network warehoused him. The lawsuit was dismissed in 2009. As he told People magazine, "They wanted to offer me what many people would consider good money and an assistant to come and sit at a desk. I didn't consider it for a second." Despite the way it all ended, Rather still has fond memories. As he told The Hollywood Reporter in 2015, "I was really lucky to work at CBS News. I'm very proud of the career I had." A heated on-air debate about Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle on a 2021 episode of The Talk proved to be co-host Sharon Osbourne's undoing. While defending Morgan on the Daily Chat show, Osbourne made some remarks that didn't sit well with some viewers or her colleagues. After her willingness to stand by Morgan was called into question, she stated,
"I'm about to be put in the electric chair because I have a friend who many people think is a racist, so that makes me a racist."
Following the segment, some of Osbourne's former co-hosts spoke out. Leah Remini claimed that Osbourne made racist comments against Julie Chen and homophobic comments about moderator Sarah Gilbert. Holly Robinson Pete took to Twitter to allege, "Sharon complained that I was too ghetto for The Talk. Then I was gone." Osbourne's time on the series ultimately ended after CBS conducted an internal investigation. As part of the review, the network concluded Sharon's behavior toward her co-hosts during the March 10th episode did not align with our values for a respectful workplace. In 2016, Billy Bush was let go from NBC's Today after a little more than a year on the job. This was in the wake of the leaking of a controversial conversation he'd had with presidential nominee Donald Trump back in 2005. On the tape, Trump can be heard talking to Bush about how easy it is for him to grope women without their consent when you're a star, to which Bush responded by laughing. There ended up being a lot of finger-pointing regarding who leaked the tape and why, but no answers. It was certainly a political hot potato for the Trumps, with Donald's wife Melania telling CNN's Anderson Cooper,
He was lead on, egg on, from the host.
In a 2019 interview with People, Bush admitted that he regrets his actions. As he put it, "It was a bad moment, and I was in it. But one moment doesn't define your life." When Matt Lauer first joined the morning broadcasting crew on NBC's Today, he felt like he'd arrived. As he told Broadcasting and Cable in 2008, "The Today Show was my dream job. It was a surreal moment." But then on November 29, 2017, Lauer's world suddenly came crashing down. That was when it was announced that he was fired after NBC received a complaint of inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. In October 2019, Variety published an excerpt from Ronan Farrow's book, Catch and Kill: Lies, Spies, and a Conspiracy to Protect Predators, in which former NBC News staffer Brooke Nevels alleged that Lauer sexually assaulted her in 2014. Nevels told Farrow that she was too drunk to consent and that she didn't want to have intercourse. Lauer has also been accused of sexting former NBC staffers and interns, though he's maintained his innocence. Since his termination, Lauer has kept pretty much to himself. As a source told People magazine in 2021, he only wants to talk to people who are going to take his side. He still feels like he got railroaded. Former CBS This Morning co-host Charlie Rose once had an impeccable resume. The lifelong journalist who gained national attention at PBS honed his craft for more than 45 years. But his reputation was turned upside down in 2017, when the Washington Post revealed shocking allegations of sexual misconduct against the seemingly mild-mannered newsman. Kyle Godfrey Ryan, one of Rose's accusers who also worked for him, told The Hollywood Reporter in 2018, "Charlie's entire life was defined by who he was as a journalist, but Charlie used his power, at times, to assault many women who worked for him." The allegations against Rose included groping at a staff party, initiating unwanted sexual advances, and walking around naked in front of colleagues who were required to work at one of his New York homes. Rose released a statement about the allegations on Twitter as he acknowledged, "I deeply apologize for my inappropriate behavior. I am greatly embarrassed. I have behaved insensitively at times, and I accept responsibility for that, though I do not believe that all of these allegations are accurate." After the story broke with 8 accusers' complaints, 9 more came forward. At that point, Bloomberg Television, PBS, and CBS News all ended their contracts with Rose. In 2018, The Washington Post reported that 27 more women came forward with sexual harassment accusations. Rose claimed the report was unfair and inaccurate. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE 4673.